Imagine a ruler so cruel, so twisted, that his name becomes synonymous with evil. This is the story of Caligula, one of the most notorious emperors in history. His reign was marked by madness, violence, and terror, making him perhaps the worst person to ever hold power. Caligula was born into the powerful Julio-Claudian dynasty of the Roman Empire, with expectations of greatness surrounding him. As a child, he was loved by the soldiers, earning the nickname Caligula, or Little Boots, due to the miniature military boots he wore. However, after the mysterious deaths of many of his family members, his upbringing took a darker turn. When he finally ascended to the throne after the death of his predecessor, Tiberius, there was initial optimism. But the joy of his early rule quickly dissolved into horror. Caligula's behavior became increasingly erratic and terrifying. He declared himself a living god, demanded that statues of deities be replaced with his likeness, and expected to be worshipped by all. He indulged in extreme cruelty, reportedly making his horse, Incitatus, a priest and planning to make him a consul, mocking the seriousness of Roman political life. His actions became a spectacle of madness, with tales of forcing senators to run for miles alongside his chariot or threatening to execute people simply for looking better than him. The stories of Caligula's cruelty are almost unbelievable. He wasted Rome's wealth on senseless luxuries, such as building enormous pleasure ships adorned with marble, gems, and exotic animals. He is said to have loved to witness pain and suffering, watching gladiatorial games with a sadistic joy, often ordering the deaths of criminals in the most brutal ways imaginable. He would sometimes order the execution of entire families if one member had displeased him, and he enjoyed humiliating those who served him, forcing high-ranking officials to perform demeaning tasks or endure public mockery. One of the most chilling accounts of his cruelty involved him forcing parents to watch the executions of their children. He reportedly took pleasure in the absolute control he had over life and death, a power he exercised with no sense of justice or mercy. Caligula's reign was short but left an indelible mark on history. After just 4 years of his terror-filled rule, he was assassinated by his own guards, who could no longer tolerate his tyranny. His death did little to erase the scars he left on Rome. His name has become a symbol of absolute power corrupted by absolute madness. Historians continue to debate the full extent of his madness, but there is no doubt that his rule represents one of the darkest periods in Roman history. Caligula's life and reign stand as a terrifying example of what can happen when power is given to someone completely unfit to wield it. His story is a warning from history about the dangers of tyranny, madness, and unchecked authority. In the annals of history, Caligula will always be remembered as one of the world's worst people. His legacy is a sobering reminder of how power, when placed in the wrong hands, can lead to unimaginable suffering and horror.